So now we are going to look at another part of dbWatch, the management section. So when we start off, we are on monitoring, which is the heart icon here. And underneath we have management. So you can either click on management to move into management, or you can also right click on an instance and choose management. And then you get moved to the correct instance in management. So it's a quick way to transition between the monitoring and management for that instance. So when we go into management, the first window gives us some information about the instance. So there's more information underneath here, different settings on the instance and names and versions and things like that. And then we have the top 20 largest online database. And these kind of views, the first starting view is as identical as possible across different database versions. So the idea in management is to make managing the databases as easy as possible and as cross-platform compatible as possible. So it's easy for a DBA to transition between different database platforms and do their work. So we also have a graph here for logical reads, last 8 hours of logical reads. So it gives an indication of the load on the system and also the session load for the last 8 hours. And you get an overview of the top 10 memory objects on the database. When this management interface is expanded, you'll see there is a lot of selections here. So on top, you will have the alerts, the monitoring alerts for this database instance. And this is an aid to know that you're on the right instance to fix monitoring issues, and also allows you to rerun the monitoring jobs directly in the management if you have fixed the issues. So it gives you a list of the issues that you have, and then the ability to rerun them or open the report and things like that from the management when you are working through an issue. The next section, so this will not show up if you have no alerts as well. So underneath there is the configuration, and this is where we look at things like parameters for the database instance and allow you to adjust them, and also statistics for uptime. So you'll have some information about the general setup, and then you can click into parameters, and this allows you to configure and change the different parameters, both there is some that are dynamic and allows you to change on the fly, and some are static, and then you have to restart the instance. And we also show the register parameters for this instance. So this might be slightly different between database platforms, but the general idea is that the first configuration window allows you to see things like configuration parameters and uptime statistics. So underneath this configuration section, we have SQL performance. So SQL performance will only show up if you have SQL statistics installed and you have the license for that and everything. So when we go into the SQL performance, there is separate videos on this. You will get information about the SQL statements that have run and the time period, and then you can use this to kind of focus down on different time periods and SQL statements there, and then open the statistics view, etc. So this is where this shows up, the SQL statistics, SQL performance, and there is separate videos covering this section in detail. Underneath you have server activity, and this is to see generally how the database instance is running, and some of these graphs starts plotting when you enable them first time. In server activity, we have things like blocking sessions, And blocking sessions, currently there is no blocking session, but this allows you to see who is blocking, who gets blocked, what are they doing, and then killing the sessions, etc. And you'll also have history on blocked sessions in the past. So this will populate based on the block statistics monitoring job. So there is a monitoring job detecting blocked sessions and alerting when blocked sessions are blocking more than the threshold amount of minutes. And if those alarms are sent, also you can see that that blocking has occurred over the thresholds in this history statistics view. So it allows you to keep looking at the blocks also back in time. Underneath here we have the current logs on the system. So there is some logs now, and it allows you to keep monitoring the logs on the system. You have active processes, and this is the SQL statements that are running in the database instance at the moment. And some graphs might take longer to load, but here we have different active dbCC processes or active backup processes. Currently nothing in the system. And you also have the overview for performance tests, and performance test is the DML test job that you can schedule. You can run it once in a while, and it gives you an estimate of the performance on this database instance. This job is also created for other platforms, so that you can combine, you can compare the performance, say, of an Azure instance or different database platforms as well, and see how they are performing and if they're changing their performance metric over time. So that's server activity, and underneath server activity we have sessions, and this is current sessions on the system and graphs on login logouts, and it's also sessions where we group them based on things like host, and where you can then focus on a specific host, or sessions per login. Then you can focus on a specific login. So if you're in one of these views, you'll see the sessions only from this host, for instance. But there's also group per program and database. Session history will show you some statistics on the session load of the system. And you can also look at the background processes that are running. So underneath sessions, we look at disk and memory usage. So this will show you the memory objects and the disk usage on the system. And you can use this to also go through the file system. It's where the files that are related to this database is running. And you have an overview of memory usage on the system. So it allows you to look at the disk and memory usage on the system. There's also backup overviews. So currently on this is a test environment with no backup running, but you'll be able to see how backup devices are configured and statistics and history for the different backups that you have. So currently, a lot of databases are missing backup here. In these views, you'll have menus both on the side for some of these menus. So, or you'll also have menus in the tables that are in the main dashboard here. And this allows you to do things like take backups, or when you're in sessions, you can kill the session, so show the current SQL state, etc. So these menus that are available on different parts of this management that will show up when there's actions that you might want to do. So underneath backups, it's the SQL Server error logs. And this is not identical on all platforms. There might be different menu items here, but we try to make the look and feel as identical as possible, while also catering for the different specific uses on different platforms. So it's the SQL error logs, and allows you to look through the error logs and see what kind of errors you have currently. On databases, you will see the top 20 largest databases and the database statistics, and then you can go through different system databases, database snapshots, but you can also go through a specific database. And have the option to detach, drop, repair suspect databases, etc. So lots of menus here. And you'll see the properties of this database, and then you have the disk memory usage for that database, the current sessions on it, more on the backups, information schemas on it. And this allows you to kind of drill down into different tables and views, and also to kind of view the data from the tables, etc. So a lot of possibilities when it comes to the management. And also a SQL worksheet, which allows you to run queries on this specific database. There's also a SQL worksheet underneath that is more general on the database instance. So SQL worksheet is a SQL query tool to allow you to run queries and get output fact from the database. So underneath databases, we have security, which allows you to see the logins that are created and allow you to change them, change passwords, disable them, etc. And you'll also see the different privileges, and you can show their permissions, etc. So it's to manage the security. There is an overview of the SQL agent and the jobs that the SQL agent is running. So you will so this kind of maps on top of the monitoring for jobs, and allows you to see the failed jobs, maintenance plans, etc. And there's also a lot of template jobs that can be added this way, and that this is not dbWatch jobs, but SQL Server agent jobs. And this allows you to pre-create a lot of these kind of commonly scheduled jobs without needing a lot of clicks around. So sometimes these menus take a bit of time to load. It means that it has to run some queries in the background to see the status of things. So you can stop and start the agent. The operating system manager allows you to browse files on the system, etc. if you have the right procedures installed, and run commands on the system. We can see on the host itself. The file browser allows you to see the different drives and browse the file system. So audit, allows you to control the database audit on a system. So it can be that you have audited objects, etc. And you can modify the audit settings on the system. This system doesn't have any audit currently enabled, but you can add auditing and manage the auditing on the system from this view. And on the bottom you have SQL Worksheet, which allows you to run queries on the system. So yeah, then you'll get a response here when you run the queries. And then you're allowed to save the output and etc. So that is a quick introduction to the management. This is slightly different between database platforms, database versions, depending on what's available. But there is a lot of possibilities to manage the system, and it's a very powerful way to manage database instances without logging into each and every one. So that concludes the introduction to management, and I hope to see you again in a video some other time. Thank you. dbWatch Control Center, redefining database operations. Please visit us at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube.